Today I'll be talking about a TryHackMe room called Game Zone. This is over at tryhackme.com room/game zone. And what it will do right now is start the machine, and this room will cover SQLite or exploiting this vulnerability and the SQL map, cracking users' hashed passwords, using SSH tunnels to reveal a hidden service, and using Metasploit payload to gain root privilege. So we deployed the machine and access to its web server, so we got that completed. And while we're still waiting, we're gonna go over to my TryHackMe VPN OpenVPN username .openvpn file and start that up. Enter the password. Make sure you've done this before trying to connect to TryHackMe. And once you've seen initialization is complete, sequence completed, we're did, and you can make sure by reloading the page and seeing your IP address will be listed here. But yeah, we have our IP at 10.10. So we're at 10.13.36.143. And we're gonna need to access the VPN for Game Zone. So let's just write on a regular nmap scan. I usually like to do this just to see which ports are open. And I think what I'll do is run a more to see if vulnerabilities exist on the target. Also run a directory brute forcing common payload, so common files, I mean, so PHP, Python, HTML, CGI, CSS, JavaScript, and text files, using the word list for third buster, directory list, and 2.3 medium text, and we can run that. So from our script vuln scan, we don't have any. It does look like there's some kind of packet DOS thing, but we're probably not gonna. And we do have port 22 open and HTTP open, so we it was obvious in the beginning when I started GoBuster that it would have a port 80 open. So we can also try an aggressive scan. An aggressive one would be SCSV scan default scripts, using default scripts, scan version numbers, version detection scan, and also OS, but this can also be shortened by just running A instead. So we can do that. I guess we can quit this one. But yeah, right now we're just gonna try seeing what the web server contains. And I guess we can answer the second question. It says, what is the name of the large cartoon avatar holding a sniper on the forum? And if you don't know who this guy is, I guess what you can do is open an image in a new tab. Still nothing. You can also just I don't know. If you really didn't know who it was, you would probably want to do something on Mozilla Firefox, search for an add-on called search by image. Here it is. So we're gonna add it to Firefox. Add. Go to the header image. So search by image, and then you go search by image and press Google. Okay, so that didn't work. What what I had to do was download this image by going right click, save image as, and it'll be in your downloads folder. And from here, what you would want to do is go search by image, upload a file. Say it's in my downloads folder and it says header image. Open that, upload it, let lens.google.com determine what image it is. Obviously, if you don't know by now, it's Agent 47. So that will be the answer to our next question, which is Agent 47. And also the hint was reverse image search. So we did that. Anyway, so obtain access via SQLi. In this task, you will understand more about SQLi, structured query language, and how you can potentially manipulate queries to communicate with the database. So an SQL statement is such as follows, like select star from users where username equals username and password equals password. The whole concept of this is that you have a table and you have a database, and within that database you have a table such as like users, where the username is going to be equal to the username and password will be equal to password. Then most of the time passwords, well, they shouldn't be in clear text. It should be hashed or some other kind of algorithm that's hiding the clear text passwords. But anyway, in our GameZone machine where you attempt to log in, it will take your inputted values from your username and password, then insert them directly into the query above. If the query finds data, you will be allowed to log in, otherwise it will display an error message. Here is a potential place of vulnerability, as you can input your username as another SQL query. You'll take the query right place and re-execute it. So there's no answer there. And the example they're giving is that we use this statement, single quote or 1 equals 1, and then 2 dashes and then space dash. And the idea for any SQL statement is this single quote. If you add a single quote at the end of the query, it completes that query statement, and anything after or is going to be true. So like, for example, if something here is false or it's not a thing, it doesn't matter what it is. If this had been and, for example, then this had to be true on this side of the statement. But since we have or, we can do anything, like something like 1 equals 1, 2 equals 2. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's true. This statement evaluates to true and completes the SQL statement, and otherwise it executes it. So again, it says username as an admin and password as that statement. It will insert this into the query and authenticate our session. The SQL query that now gets executed on the web server is as follows. So the extra SQL we inputted as our password has changed the above query to break the initial query and proceed with the admin user. If 1 equals 1, then comment the rest of the query to stop it breaking. That's what this comment SQL statements that have 2 double dashes are commented out, and it'll stop breaking. Again, it says the comment the rest of the query to stop breaking it. So we can complete that. And GameZone doesn't have an admin user in the database. However, you can still log in without knowing any credentials using the inputted password data we used in the previous question. So we use that same statement as your username and leave the password blank. And if you logged in, what page do you get redirected to? And as you will see here, we type in or 1 equals 1, 2 dashes and another dash, and then we press enter. We close this out. and we're on the game zone portal, so the answer should be portal.php, as it's up here, portal.php. I'll copy that, paste it here. Okay, so task 3 says using SQL map. SQL map is a popular open source automatic SQL injection database takeover tool. This comes pre-installed on all versions of Kali Linux or can be manually downloaded and installed here. So there are many different types of SQL injection, Boolean, time-based, etc. And SQL map automates the process, trying different techniques. We're going to use SQL map to dump the entire database from Game Zone. Using the page we logged into earlier, we're going to point SQL map to the Game Zone game review search feature, and we're gonna need to launch burp here. So search burp, and we're gonna need to capture that request.txt is what we're gonna save it as. So in the proxy tab, you may have to make sure that intercept is on. Also, back on the game zone portal, they have us type out test into the portal page. So we're gonna type test, and before we press on search, we're gonna have to come here. If you don't have proxy installed, it's a good idea to get it installed now. But otherwise, you can search on Mozilla Firefox again. They go add-on Mozilla Firefox, Mozilla.com. Oh, since our intercept on is on, flip that, turn it off, go to find add-ons, and then search for proxy. So proxy. The one I have installed is the standard one. You're gonna need to come here and press on add extension, or and then once you get it installed, and you're gonna have to go to options, and we're gonna need to have to add a new proxy. So for example, if I did burp in that other one, I could do zap or zap proxy. So just call it zap proxy. It'll be kind of the same idea that we do in a burp, since they're kind of similar. They're not exactly similar, but they do this. They do kind of the same thing. Well, OZAP is not as popular, but anyway. Port number will be 8080, and IP address we'll leave it at the local host. And since I used green in the other one, I can do something like blue for the proxy. And then you're gonna need to do save and edit patterns. Oh, we didn't use it. We just needed to save that then. And we have one for the proxy and burp suite. They do the same idea of intercepting requests and everything, but see, I had a burp suite 127 localhost and port number, and that's all you need to really like pay attention to. The other thing you would have to do is go into your settings. If you're on Firefox and doing this, you're gonna need to search for proxy, or not proxy, certificate first. Do view certificate, and from when you have the proxy on for Foxy proxy, and also burp suite running, whenever you have intercept on, it'll reach this page where it's kind of like orange bar, and it wants to add the certificate, and you're gonna need to import that certificate. So it'll be import, and then you have to find the certificate, import it, and press OK. And that's basically the idea, but getting too long right now. I want to continue. So once we got the intercept on, make sure intercept is on. We have burp here, it's showing. We press search. So now Foxy proxy intercepts the request, and what else did they want us to do? They want us to save this request into a text file, so we can just go ahead and go copy to file and save it as request.txt, and I'm gonna save it in my THM. I'm gonna create a new folder called, or hold on. I'm gonna call it game zone. So we go to game zone and save it there. So we have it saved, and they want us to run SQL map r request.txt and then dbms.mysql, since it's that MySQL database, and dump the database. So we can go back to our terminal here, open a new tab, and oh yeah, GoBuster is still running, but it only found images folder and index.php and just some styles. So only thing you can really do is look at the portal.php. So we'll check that out later. But anyway, we just go to THM and then game zone. And right here, we're just going to do SQL that R request. So we're going to refer to the R SQL map R request tab and do dbms equals MySQL database, and it'll be again dump. So 2 hyphens to the dump, and just press enter here to run the command. And now we're back. I was wondering what was going on with the window, but now it looks like it's fine. So let it run, and it's checking for SQL injection on the post parameter search item. Right now we just have to wait and see what the hashed password dump will be. Oh, probably a good idea to press enter. I wonder why it was taking some time. It did say eventually it will output the database, but it is taking some time. So now I guess we can just wait, let it run a little bit longer. Answer yes for this question, and we have our hash password. You want to store hashes to a temporary file for a free version? Okay, yeah, sure. Back the thing. God, if this. Yeah, sure, I guess. Got our password hash, which is right here in Agent 47. We can enter the password hash. And the username that was associated with 47. And what was the other table was, so one was called database. I mean, users. The other one was called DB. No. Yeah, the other one was called Post. Post. And we're now gonna move on to cracking a password, John the Ripper. So John the Ripper is a fast and free open source password cracker. It is pre-installed on all Linux machines. This program to crack the hash that we obtained earlier. John the Ripper is 15 years old, and there's other programs such as Hashcat that crack passwords also. The program works by taking a word list, hashing it with a specific algorithm, and then comparing it to your hash password. If both hash passwords are the same, it means that it has found it. You cannot reverse the hash, so it needs to be done by comparing hashes. And that's the key point. You have to, you cannot reverse it. You can only compare different hashes to from one hash to another. So if you have a low-powered laptop, you can deploy a high-spec Linux machine on the TryHackMe and control it in your browser. So you can deploy using your own here. Otherwise, this is not advisable to do it from a virtual machine like I am. So we can just do John. And one thing is, since we do have the hash, it contains a list of your hashes. We're gonna need the word list and then format. So I have a previous John. Before I do anything, let me just go into the game zone directory, and then we can do echo agent 47 is the password and the hash. This, and we're gonna output it to hash txt. So we can do cat, and there's our hash. And then now we can do the John hash.txt as word list be equal to user slash word list .txt. Format will equal to raw SHA-256. So SHA-256 and press enter. And it was just like that. I didn't have to worry about the VM. That's our password. No answer needed here. What is the dehashed pass? Video gamer 124. Submit it and take a look at the hint. Use the RockView password list. And another thing is, you don't have RockView. Well, Kali Linux has it installed by default, so it was in ls share and then rockq.txt, but there's a gzip file there. So if you wanted to unzip it, you use gzip or gunzip, and then that same password hash. So user share word list rockq.txt.gz. How you unzip it. But anyway, we can continue. Now you have a password hash and the username. Try SSH onto the machine. What is the user flag? So we do have the SSH login. I had SSH onto the machine, so it was agent 47 at the IP address. Is this one? Say yes. The password was video gamer 24. We paste that. So if we ls directory .txt, get out the user.txt file, and it'll give us our first flag. Now we're gonna move on to task 5, which is exposing services with the reverse SSH tunnels. This is like the idea behind it. 3 hosts. One is called host A, user's computer, host B, I use host B, gateway C, the server host, and it's behind the firewall. And this is inside the whole network. Reverse SSH is done by using SSH root name and then add password. Well, the actual command is a little different. We use L and then port number, and then for example it would be at the URL connecting to a different port number, and user at example.com. So reverse SSH port forwarding specifies that the given port on the remote host is to be forwarded to the given host and port on the local side. L is the local tunnel, U connecting to the client. If a site was blocked, you can forward the traffic to a server you own and view it. For example, if Imgur was blocked at work, you can do SSH this command going to the localhost 9000 on your machine to load the Imgur traffic using your own your other server. So R is a remote tunnel. So you connecting to the client. So instead of you the client connecting to you, you're connecting to the client. You forward your traffic to the other server for others to view, similar to the example above, but in reverse. And these are the if we will use a tool called SS to investigate the sockets running on a host. If we run this command to SS tool P, tell us what sockets connections are running. So in a new tab, you can check our, and so for example, if we wanted to use the port numbers, we don't if we want to use this command up here, we don't select one that matches, like for example 9000, or the ones we are connecting on is 58180386669. So we're not going to be using those. Oh, actually we do this on the log. So SS tool in. So the number of ports open are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 here. Oh, that's not. Oh, it's looking for TCP. Oh, okay, yeah, I was looking at the UDP. So the only ones that are TCP are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can see that the service running on port 1000 is blocked via firewall rule. From the outside, we can see this from the IP table list. However, using a SSH tunnel, we can expose the port to us locally. From our local machine, run this command, username at IP. So while this SSH session is running there, and the SSH like on 10,000, full host 10,000, agent 47, and actually our IP will be different. We do that, and 124, and we're connected. So now if we go to the browser, go to localhost 10,000, we have a webmin login screen. So you must enter a username and a password to log into the webmin server on localhost. So again, we can try 47, password, the video gamer 124. So while that's running, what is the name of the exposed CMS? It was webmin. What is the CMS version? And it says right here 1.5.1.580. 1.580 was any credentials you can make use of login. Yes, of course. So again, 1.580, and this is running on Ubuntu Linux 16.04.6. Linux kernel is 4.4. There's really probably nothing else to do on this page, so we can go and search from search exploit or anything with exploit in webmin. So webmin, search exploit webmin, and we have a couple here. Let's sort by or only grep for Metasploit. Third time's the charm. We got a couple here. The one we want to try to see is show.cgi. Okay, so at the directory, the file, can access that folder. This module requires a Java to function, but your browser does not support Java. That show.cgi. Failed to open no such file or directory. And also go ahead and copy that file. So just go to again 3 and copy that file. So it would be search exploit. Not the webmin, and then we want to copy that to, actually it's 2151. Take a look at. So again, it was this module X, it's a Ruby file, but for Metasploit. This module exploits an arbitrary command execution vulnerability webmin 15.1580. This vulnerability exists in the file that show.cgi component and allows an authenticated user with access to the file manager module to execute arbitrary command privileges. The module has been tested successfully on webmin Ubuntu 10.04. And we'll pretty much there, but we do have that Ruby file, and all these are from Metasploit. Well, so we can just go ahead and start the MSF console. Oh yeah, and I remember now. So another thing you can do is something like go to the root directory. This will show you the root file, or yeah, I'll just download whatever. Metasploit is still running. Yeah, but this will show us our flag. There's our flag for the root, but it does not give us a root access. Okay, so we have Metasploit running. Search for webmin and type search for exploit. So we have the one we were looking at was show CGI exec. This file show.cgi code execution. So we'll use that one. So we go u0 and just show options. So we're gonna need to add the password. Our host, our port, it remains default. SSL, we're gonna have to change this to false because we're not on SSL. it's a regular HTTP traffic. Username we also add and vhost. I think there's one. Let's just do set password equal to the video gamer 124. We'll do set to the agent 47 that our host. We're gonna have to do this to localhost because again, remember we're running a reverse SSH shell on this port, which is allowing us to connect to the game this webmin. And again, last but not least is SSL. Set it to false. And now we can run this exploit for everything. Show our options again, making sure everything's correct. And so we can press run. Exploit targeting. Oh yeah, we have to set the payload. That's what so we can show payloads by doing show payloads. The one we want is this one. So MD Unix reverse. So we can do set payload to C reverse. Unfortunately, we're not gonna get interpreter shell from here. So, but either way, we're lhost. Lhost was not specified. Oh, lhost would be our machine IP. So up here it'd be 10.13.36.143. And if you don't know, you could just do IPA and then right here under 10.0 be 10.13.36.143. Be mine. So again, we do set lhost. Exploit and allow this to run so it can grant us a URL. So we answered all the tasks so far. Oh, authentication failed. Don't worry about it, but just have to run it a second time. And we have a session. Oh, wait. Yeah, we can upgrade it. So we do have a session, so we can do sessions. Session. Interacting with session. And we're in the user share webmin file directory. We can do ID, and then we see, oh, we're root. So guess what we can do? We can also do who am I, cd into the directory, ls, and let's do an interactive bash shell. And do root, cat out the root.txt file, and we're done. Copy selection, come back. Successfully rooted the box. So again, there is one more thing that I did want to add, which was to always make sure that when done with the machine to terminate it once you're finished. So that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you for watching.